Ladies and gentlemen from beyond the great waterfall, welcome. I am Atlas Pleiades, and once again, an audio-visual record of events that is new has been released. ReZero Season 4, Episode 11 is upon us, and it marks the arrangement of a couple of things. For one, it marks the end of Volume 23 of the light novel. This means that after this episode, there are only 2 volumes remaining for the season. But what it also marks is that we are now entering the mode of hiatus, as ReZero will not be returning until August 12th, which will have 8 more episodes adapting Volumes 24 and 25, and according to some leaks, apparently, the final episode of Season 4 is actually going to be closer to 40 to 45 minutes long, which is exciting news. I'm not going to ramble much further here, but I will apologize briefly in case my voice sounds slightly off. I can't fully tell, but at least to me it kind of seems like it. I am still recovering from being sick, and so of course this video is also coming later than I intended, as I haven't been able to record due to a fucked throat for the past probably week and a half or so. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into ReZero Season 4, Episode 11. Welcome everybody, as always, be it anime-onlys or any form of the ReZero media readers. Let's just jump right in. Episode 11 kicks right off where we left off, with Subaru and Ram's confrontation. Ram tells Subaru to come clean, and Subaru just angrily charges at her, and as he does so, an ice prison forms around him, trapping him from really going anywhere. Turns out Amelia was working with Ram to corner him here. Amelia asks Subaru what happened, and Ram basically is like, maybe he'll talk if we torture him real quick. And Amelia's like, no, we agreed to talk to him. Isn't this what we're doing? And Ram is like, remember, he could be the Archbishop that can transform into other people's appearances, aka Capella. And so we need to be careful. And hopefully, maybe we can get some information about where Subaru and Meili are, which makes Subaru realize that they weren't the ones who moved Meili, which means likely that Shala definitely did. Subaru tries to tell them that he forgot his memories, and that just pisses Ram off because of course that would mean that Rem would be completely forgotten by everyone. So, as she threatens Subaru, Amelia stands to protect him, however Ram just throws her out of the way and blasts a spell of magic, knocking Subaru out as he collides with the cage. We see brief flashes before Subaru wakes up, with the cage having been completely destroyed as he's just sitting in the middle of the room. As he looks around the room, Ram and Amelia are nowhere to be found, but there is an oddity within the room, a big one, seeing as all of the walls are scraped into them with Japanese text, just like his arm. Natsuki Subaru was here. Natsuki Subaru was here. Before Subaru even has the chance to process what's going on, we hear a familiar voice as Reed Estrella steps in, calling the room creepy and asking Subaru what he's even doing in the room like this. He taunts Subaru for a moment before noticing that Subaru must have gotten into a fight with his friends, and then Subaru is like, hey, wait a minute, like, I thought you couldn't leave the exam floor, and he's like, your assumptions fell apart, that's on you, bro. I'm going to leave. And as Subaru keeps pestering him for more questions, he just flicks Subaru in the head, being like, you're not gonna get the answers to everything. I'm out of here. I'm leaving the tower. I just gotta take care of one little regret I got. Subaru follows Reed to the center of the tower, and he can see at the bottom of the floor that Julius is in the middle of fighting the Hungry Horse Kings. Yes, Kings. There are multiple of these things, and Julius is doing the best he can to hold his own. And Meili chimes into Subaru's ear saying that this is a perfect opportunity to get Julius killed, so he can read his Book of the Dead. And sure enough, this really is a perfect opportunity as one of the Hungry Horse Kings prepare to fire a blast behind Julius in which he can't see it. But Subaru ends up calling out to Julius, telling him to look out from behind, giving Julius the chance to dodge, which he does, and he fights back. Reed points out that weaklings can't do anything more really than make excuses, and then Subaru watches as Reed just jumps into the hole. And even though Subaru knew that this hole was a hole that had killed him falling down time after time again, Reed just lands gracefully, crushing a Hungry Horse King as he does so. Julius asks why he's here, and he just gets mocked by Reed once again. And as the Hungry Horse Kings charge Reed, he just takes care of them no problem, stating that he just wants to finish the exam and to try to knock the Singles chopstick out of his hand before this fight's over. Julius looks up to Subaru and tells him to take care of and protect Aridna / Lady Anastasia before he engages with Reed. And Reed basically is like, that disposition of yours never changes, does it? And then we get to watch as Subaru continues to run through the tower. Subaru ignores the taunts he receives from Melee as he's running through the hallways before running into Beatrice, who's been looking for him and of course has been worried about him. However, Aridna walks up and tells Beatrice to stay away. After all, he shouldn't be out of his cage, and Rom said not to trust him. However, Beatrice is like, I can know that it's the real him, all I have to do is hold his hand, but Aridna isn't having any of it either way, saying that she should have just trusted her gut instinct and came here alone. Subaru basically says that that doesn't matter, and that the tower is essentially done for at this point, and Beatrice is like, that's not like you to say that. And Subaru's like, what the hell is like me? And Aridna basically is like, okay, so you're sticking to this shitty story that you lost your memories? Seriously? Aridna calls him out here, basically being like, look, Rom's sister is completely forgotten. Julius has been completely forgotten by everyone, and you want to continue this cruel act? And that sets Subaru off. Act? This is no fucking act. If I wanted to pretend to be somebody else, why? Why would I ever dare choose Natsuki Subaru, this worthless piece of shit? Why would I choose someone so pathetic? Subaru tears into himself here, but also just points out that he doesn't want to be a part of any of this. He just wants to go home. He doesn't want to deal with the tower. He doesn't want to deal with the corpses. He's just done. He's snapped, and he gets it. If he's done something so awfully wrong, and that this is his punishment, he's learned his lesson, he's done. Just forgive him and let him go home. And Beatrice stands there, rubbing his back, trying to support him. And Aridna basically just tells Beatrice, look, this is my compromise. You go with him. I'll go do my thing and get Julius. But Subaru stops her. He still reaches out and grabs onto her. Aridna, of course, asks why the hell is he doing this after she just made a compromise. And he's like, Julius asked me to protect you. And as Aridna contemplates this, 3 red lights appear on Subaru's forehead as we see a massive scorpion hanging onto the wall before it fires white lights at the trio there, and Beatrice has to put up an incomplete form of EMT to protect them. However, that causes the ground to cave in and Aridna to fall through. However, out of pure instinct, Subaru reaches out and grabs her hand to protect her and stop her from falling, which Aridna points out as being unpredictable and that she doesn't like it. And he's like, look, this was completely on instinct. Aridna uses Al Jawaldo to blast off one of the scorpion pincers, which causes it to run off. Subaru helps Aridna, and she's like, just whose side are you on? And he's like, I don't know, honestly, because, and Beatrice, of course, fills it in of him having lost his memories. And as she holds his hand, she's like, you really don't remember helping me out of the mansion and everything we went through? And he apologizes, but she just says that it's okay. She still remembers, and that's what's important, and that she will help him remember, no matter what it takes. And so the three of them are basically agree that they need to get the hell out of here, and they start kind of making their way past the scorpion pincer, which lights up and explodes. It fades to Subaru hauling Aridna away from the wreckage, and she tells him that that's enough, that he has done enough. And he's like, of course I haven't done enough. Nothing I've ever done has ever been enough. And she's like, shouldn't you be worried about Beatrice? And we see that, of course, Beatrice had protected him. She didn't make it out. And Aridna calls her an unfortunate girl, and then we see that Aridna's lost her lower half of her body, or rather, Anastasia's body. And she points out how painful human bodies are. She says this pain is the only way she can atone for Anna, because, of course, if she swapped with Anna right now, she would have to feel that pain instead of Aridna, and that Aridna's okay with this. That Subaru doesn't have to make this easier for her, because this is what she wants. And Meili chimes in, saying, well, isn't this essentially convenient? You could kill her right now and have access to her Book of the Dead. It would be pretty easy right now. Subaru looks around in the rubble for a piece of rock that he can use to kill her with, and Meili reassures him, saying that he's just putting her out of her misery after all. And so, Subaru crawls over to her and raises his hands up, ready to smash the boulder into Aridna and Anastasia's skull. But after hearing a breath from her, he drops the rock. He can't do it. He can't bring himself to do it. Subaru even calls himself out here, like, you can't even do something that simple? And he just kind of struggles there, and then Aridna is like, you couldn't even use a rock to put me out of my misery? And she reaches out to him, saying that she's sorry that she ever doubted him, before passing on. Of course, Meili's thoughts just sit there and ask Subaru, why can't he just die? Dark hands swirl around Subaru as he agrees with Meili's sentiment. And he's engulfed in these hands, and we see Satella. Of course, she just says her singular catchphrase of I love you over and over and over as Subaru tries to block it out before he gets fed up, and he's like, shut up, I don't love me. He says that he knew he was loved. He knew that his parents loved him. How could he not know that? And that's why he wished he would just disappear. His parents loved him so much, but he could never love someone like him, who wasn't even worth loving to begin with. Satella just keeps repeating that she loves him over and over, and he says, isn't this enough? I get it already. I already knew the answer. I knew that all of these people who are nice to me for no fucking reason couldn't have even been remotely bad people. That's why Natsuki Subaru should have just died. If he can just die, if this can be the end of it, then that would be okay. But Satella just continues to say I love you as she holds him and hugs him, wrapping her arms around him, and I mean all of her arms around him, and as he seems to be almost fully consumed by her love, essentially, a voice cuts through saying that that's enough. And Amelia comes in to fight Satella off and protect Subaru. Amelia grabs his hand and has them run through the tower, trying to get him to safety. And as they're running, he just looks at his hand, pulls away, and says that he's had enough. He says that there's something wrong with all of them. Amelia, Julius, Beatrice, even Echidna in the end had apologized to him. And Amelia asks what he meant by that, and that he shouts that Echidna's dead, that she bled out, and Beatrice as well. That all of them are idiots, every single one of them. That he couldn't protect anybody for him to go, as Julius said, and take care of them. What was he thinking? Amelia closes her eyes and takes a deep breath before opening them again and stating that the two of them had met at a place in the Lagunican capital called the Loot House. And she recounts what happened within their first meeting, at least her understanding of their first meeting, in that he had saved her. and asks if he remembers, which of course he doesn't. She points out that he was hurt badly, and so she took him back to the mansion to take care of him, and that Ram, and likely Rem as well, and her all became good friends, and that's when he had promised to take her out on their very first date, and she asks once again if he remembers, which of course he doesn't. She recounts the royal selection and everything that happened there and how they had their first big fight. But even after that first big fight, when she was scared and didn't understand what was going on when the witch cult attacked, he came in and saved her yet again. She asks him if he remembers what he had said to her after all of that had happened, what he had said back then, and unfortunately, of course, he still doesn't remember. But she says that, well, she still remembers all of it. But Subaru, he just lashes out yet again. He doesn't remember it. Of course he doesn't remember it. How could any of them even believe someone like Natsuki Subaru could do such a thing? Protecting others, running after others to look after them and take care of them, acting in an instinct, putting his life on the line to protect other people. No, Natsuki Subaru could never do that. He knows just how much of a scumbag, just how worthless Natsuki Subaru really is. He exclaims that he knows that better than anyone. He knows himself better than anyone does, and he knows how awful he really is. He asks, why does it have to be him? Why can't someone stronger or smarter out there do it? He knows they exist. He knows that there's someone better than him that could do it. But Subaru, no, he couldn't do it. He can't do it. So, Amelia just stands up and states her name. That her name is Amelia. Just Amelia. She has quite a few things that she wants to ask of Subaru right now, but for the moment, let him just tell her one thing. What is his name? He asks her why. Why does it have to be Natsuki Subaru? What expectations does she have of him? She tells him that he might be right. Sure, there's probably plenty of people that are smarter than him and stronger than him. But he's the one she wants to be with. That Amelia hopes and believes in him and that he can get through it. And that rather than it being somebody that can do it because they can, or somebody that's doing it because they're there, she would be so much happier if she can be beside the person that she loves. And those words hit Subaru like a truck, and he realizes that Natsuki Subaru was in love with a beautiful girl like this, and that was the source of his strength. Could she be any more out of his league? How dare he even desire somebody as beautiful as this? And once again, she says that her name is Amelia. Just Amelia. And she asks for his name. As Subaru recounts everything that's happened since he's woke up in the tower, he thinks before stating, I am Natsuki Subaru. The man Julius trusted, the person Beatrice believed in, the one Echidna forgave, and the one that Amelia hopes for. If that is Natsuki Subaru, then he must be Natsuki Subaru. And as he states this, the lyrics to Stay Alive begin to start playing. And he states in his mind that he wants to help them, that he wants to help all of them as Amelia is bursting into tears. Subaru wants to save them all from this tower, and if Natsuki Subaru can do that, then he's gonna do it. And he thanks Amelia for letting him believe that. And she looks like she's about to confess something to him before the tower starts breaking apart, basically collapsing directly under them, and Amelia begins to fall. Subaru dives in to save her, bouncing off of rocks, doing everything he can to reach her, extending his arm out to her as she reaches back out at him. And as they plummet, he reaches desperately before finally grasping onto her hand as the chorus of Stay Alive starts playing. And he basically looks down into the void as they're falling, basically asking, is this really how it's going to end? With them plummeting down like this? Wait, no. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. He's going to remember. He'll remember everything, and even if they all forget, he'll never forget any of them. As the title card ends on the episode, ReZero, starting life in another world. We do see him waking back up from his checkpoint, the two of Amelia and Beatrice being worried about him as he just smiles to himself before getting a determined look on his face. And then the episode actually ends. And yeah, let's talk about the episode. God damn, that was good. Every episode continues to floor me, but this one in particular was just absolutely amazing. And when I work on these, I usually have the episode pulled up with me just so I can make sure that I'm not missing anything as best as I can. And as we were going through this ending bit here, I was doing everything I could not to just start crying again, because that scene with Amelia and stuff, when he grabbed her hand, I ended up bursting into tears the first time, even though I knew what was coming. So yeah, this episode did an incredible job. We got to see Natsuki Subaru and who he truly is, because while he's had his memories reset, while he's had everything that he's gone through be so traumatic in just this very short period of time since he lost his memories, and see him damn near go down a villain arc, he himself seemingly hasn't really done any of the bad things. He couldn't even bring himself to put Echidna out of her misery. And there's not a whole lot that I can say about this episode aside from that it was very good in terms of just like the episode's quality. The animation was good, the music choices were perfect. As Subaru's tearing into himself before Amelia gives that last bit of her speech when Stay Alive starts playing, it's playing the piano version of Styx Helix as well, which is just a great music choice. And overall, just all of this was done beautifully. But I actually wanted to talk about the themes a little bit more here than I normally do. I know I don't always bring them up, and I kind of just mention them here or there where I think they're important, but I kind of just let you guys get out of it what you wanted to, and I'm mainly more here for discussing the quality and just how well the content was adapted, as well as what content there is. But I really want to point out, like, Subaru's self-hatred here is really important for his character, and I was almost, like, really nervous. No, I was really nervous going into Season 4 that maybe they wouldn't highlight that as much as I think that they should. But they ended up really hitting it home here, just how strong that is. And we're seeing parallels to Episode 18 with the REM speech as well. But it's so much deeper than that. Because, like, there's so much going on here. Like, Subaru having forgotten everything, he sits there and he kind of berates Amelia like, I don't remember any of this. How can you say that I'm this great person? And it mirrors what Amelia basically said when they had their big fight in Arc 3. How the Amelia in his head must be this really great person. That's kind of what Subaru is saying to Amelia here. And what I love is that as he tears himself apart, even just in this episode, the things that he's tearing himself apart for, he has all done this episode. How he's saying that he can't, you know, act on instinct. He grabbed Aridna's hand. He can't go chasing after running after others to protect them. He did that when Julius asked him to and entrusted him to protect Aridna and Beatrice. And that he can't protect others and help them and all of that. He does all of these things this episode, and so it's brilliant how we're really getting to see into Subaru's psyche. And what I also like here specifically is we're seeing who Subaru was before Season 1. And I think that's something that, like, even the anime community doesn't touch on enough, or like the ReZero community rather as a whole, I don't think touch up on enough with this. We don't know much about Subaru from before he came into this world. And aside from with Season 2, with, you know, the episode Parent and Child, But even then, we're not seeing what he was before, aside from like hints at it a little bit. Like we get a little bit, but I feel like we get so much more here because we're really seeing into that self-hatred and just how bad it was in his own world. To the point that, yeah, he sounds pretty suicidal. Yes, I'm saying the word YouTube doesn't like, but it's... Subaru does not love himself at all. He truly hates himself and thinks that he deserves to die and that he's not worth love. And I really love just how much Amelia is able to kind of take his words and spit them back at him here with, like, asking for his name and saying, like, agreeing with some of his takes of himself. Like, yes, there are people smarter than you. Yes, there are people stronger than you, but you're the one I want to be with. Like Subaru did in season 2 to her, where she was like, but I'm so naive, I'm so pathetic, I'm so this, I'm so that. And he's like, hell yeah you are. You struggle and you're so frustrating and you cause me hella loads of trouble, but yet I still care about you and I still love you and I want to be with you, nobody else. And that's what I really love about this episode, is just how much mirroring going on there really is here. Even when this Subaru isn't the same Subaru per se, seeing as he's lost his memories. So, thematically, this episode I think is really important, and it seems to have landed pretty hard because it got a 10 out of 10 on IMDb from my understanding, at least on its initial release, and it's just doing so well. I'm so happy to see ReZero doing as well as it is right now, and happy to see that this season has been such of a banger. But I'm going to stop rambling now because I think I've driven home the point of Natsuki Subaru as a character with his self-hatred and how this is a huge moment of growth for him. And, well, one other thing I'll point out as well is that as he's plummeting with Amelia, that even mirrors episode 1 as he's trying to reach for his hand and saying that he'll save them. That's basically what he does here too. And God, this episode is like perfect. I actually think this is my favorite episode. Episode 18 is good. I know everybody loves it because of Rem and all of that, but like, I think this is better personally. To be fair, I've always been more of an Amelia fan than a Rem fan. Not a Rem hater, mind you. I just prefer where Rem's character goes in the future rather than the current Rem that we know in the anime form. But I'm not going to spoil anything for that. So, cut content. What is there to talk about here? Quite a bit, actually. So, the differences that I want to point out I'm going to kind of go off the top of my head with the little bit of notes that I do have. So first of all, the Reed and Julius fight was both longer and handled a little differently. That fight, Reed pretty much, the moment he spots Julius, he jumps down there and starts fighting him, even amongst the centaurs, or the Hungry Horse Kings. And the fight goes on for a lot longer until Reed gets bored and then walks away. And then we have Subaru and the Julius stuff, and he runs off to go help Aridna. In which, during their little confrontation, Aridna's even more distrusting than she is in the anime, and he even says that his goal was to release Satella from the shrine, essentially. Basically, she says that that Subaru had succeeded in his goal when he states that, oh, the tower's collapsing. She's like, oh, you must have succeeded then. You wanted to release the witch from the shrine. Which is relevant because the shrine is actually located near the tower, which would explain why Satella is attacking so quickly and so easily here. Also, that little bit from last episode where I said the animal stuff wasn't in the light novel and that it was rather in the web novel, I was wrong. I misremembered the order of events. In the light novel, this is actually, with Subaru being in that frozen cage, that's when we would have gotten the reveal about Capella. When Ram mentions that Archbishop that can transform people, he as somewhat mainly in his mind is like, how dare you even say that I'm like that person? And it then recounts the things that Capella did to Melee. So that's an interesting little detail there. Also, the way he actually escapes the ice prison in the light novel is that when he blacked out, his shoulder got dislocated, and when Reed shows up, Reed actually just knocks it back into place for him, essentially. When Emilia saves Subaru as well, it has a little bit more of an action flair to it rather than it just being like a single cut. She actually has to fend Satella off properly. And one other thing is that, like, of course, we see more of Subaru's inner hatred, and we also kind of see that Julius during the stuff with Reed as well. We see more of their, his personality really clashing with Reed's once more, in a little bit more detail. But other than that, actually, there's not as much cut content really to think about than I thought. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna say thank you all so much for watching and sticking with me for those that have. I know these reviews are not doing the best, but I'm going to just follow them through all the way. You might not hear from me for a while now that we are officially on hiatus. I'm going to be busy with a couple of different things in my life. I've got some other projects going on that I want to get to on my other channel that I've been neglecting, which I may link, I may not. We'll see. But also I'll be moving relatively soon here as well. Basically a little bit after the hiatus is over. So I'm going to be quite busy overall. I'm still going to try to be as timely as I can with these episodes when we do pick things back up, but I can't make any promises because this will be my first proper time moving, if anything. So thank you all for your support. I've been loving the channel growth, and thank you all specifically who supported the Al video. That video has far exceeded any of my expectations, and has far exceeded the any success any other video on my channel has so far. For the future of this channel, while yes, I'm taking a small break, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be here. I just can't promise that I'm going to release anything between now and when the hiatus is over, but I want to try to. I've got some other theories about ReZero that I want to bring in, and one of these theories I think technically can even work with anime onlys now. So yeah, I will be looking into that. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Either see you in a couple months or maybe sooner. Who knows? We'll see for sure when the time comes. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.